The week before last, I spoke about the value of an unqualified apology when you are conclusively wrong, discussing the parents of the Daddy of Five YouTube channel and the apology they gave, casting blame upon Philip DeFranco just for discussing their ethically questionable videos and parenting practices. And it's true, for the vast majority of mistakes or offenses, a sincere, unqualified apology goes a long way to wiping the slate clean and moving on. Most people, myself included, are willing to do that when a person is honest and takes responsibility. That is the value of an unqualified apology. But unfortunately, we keep observing the value of an unqualified apology through its inverse, the damage of deflecting responsibility. In today's example, I am the scapegoat for the laziness and incompetence of Mike.com, as I have been since December when they chose to smear me as a right-wing troll in an article on their website and across their social media platforms. And what was my offense? Most of you are aware, but for newcomers, I'll recap quickly. In November, Mike writer Sarah Harvard posted to Twitter that she was looking for stories of minorities being abused by Trump supporters. Out of curiosity, my friend crafted a ridiculous story about a Native American being assaulted at a Starbucks and sent it to her to see what would happen. Would she verify the story? Or would she just accept it? Seems like a good test to run, considering she asked for the story. And this is an outlet that advertises itself as the source for 65 million people to make sense of the world. With demand like that, you're in a hurry, I guess. Because within minutes, Sarah Harvard posted our made-up story as true without a single critical question asked. She later reached out to me for a follow-up interview in which she told me she was working on an introspective piece about correcting her process, but instead, she just used that interview to twist my words and write a smear piece about me, and that was the last I heard from her. All of this backstory is linked in the description if you'd like the full details, including an audio recording of that very interview. That was the last I heard from her until this week, when Mike published a video to its YouTube channel asking its staff, "When were you last wrong?" And judging by the initial response, I presume they mean other than appearing in this video. Several of the staff members offer mistakes they've recently made. It's testimony that is nothing short of insufferable.
I accidentally misgendered somebody. I was just like full flames in my head, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, apologizing. And I finally knew how it felt to be like a white person when they accidentally say some shit about black people.
I'll bet you $1 that never happened. And it's just an excuse to take a racial dig. And yes, that is the same guy responsible for this Goebbels-level propaganda.
Are all white people racist? Let me explain using science. Short answer, no. Long answer, yes, of course.
Why is the word spectrum suddenly the automatic justification to push whatever nonsense you want?
The science says we're all on a spectrum.
'Cause my sex junk is so much more than either.
Is the Earth flat? Well, geology is on a spectrum. Is Bigfoot real? Well, zoology is on a spectrum. Call everyone racist and invent your own gender like this is Build-A-Bear Workshop? It's all on a spectrum. When it gets to Sarah's turn, she makes general reference to me. And she gets so close to that apology, so close to taking that responsibility that would actually benefit her. But then she falls right back into her self-imposed trap. Yeah, I made a mistake once, but it was someone else's fault.
There was a time when, journalistically speaking, I made a big error in lapse of judgment. I got this email from this woman who said that she was Native American and she was verbally attacked outside of a Starbucks. I screenshotted that email, posted on Twitter, and said, hey, a reader of mine sent me this. Several days later, I received an email from this right-wing news publication. Apparently, the woman that emailed me was actually a right-wing troll who has his own YouTube channel. Here what I did wrong was I never really reached out to her to verify if it's true.
At least she did acknowledge her own error. At least she did acknowledge what she could have done better. I will credit that. But again, what's valuable here is unqualified responsibility. And since we are journalistically speaking, Sarah, the accuracy of your qualifiers matters. And I dispute both the accuracy and the necessity of calling me a right-wing troll. Let's separate these terms out. Am I a troll? You're implying that I targeted you, that I deceived you simply for the purpose of making you my victim. Sarah, you consistently omit the fact that you asked for these stories publicly. I provided you with one per your request, and you ran with it. No questions asked. I did not pick you at random. I responded to your inquiry, and every other fumble in this story is entirely your fault. What you call a troll could also be called a journalistic watchdog. If you do your job as you should, there is no story to tell here. If you are a victim, you are only a victim of yourself. You also call me right-wing. I dispute the accuracy of that description, but even if it was accurate, how is that description relevant to this story? If I was a Bernie bro or an Antifa member, and all the other facts in this case were the same, would it change anything? Would you be off the hook? Would you bear any less responsibility? Would your process be any more professional? Would your accountability be any less damaged? And that's the problem. The smear you keep throwing at me does nothing to change the facts of the story. You are simply trying to create an other or an enemy and assign motive as a cheap mechanism to cover for your journalistic inadequacies. You don't fix journalistic inadequacies by calling names. You make them worse. So to be precise, Sarah, the last time you were wrong was not in fact in publishing this bogus story or any of the others you frequently do. You backed the guy who said he was kicked off a Delta flight for speaking Arabic. That was bunk. You praised Sharia advocate Linda Sarsour. You described Francesca Ramsey as a, quote, comedian, but all of this is less consequential. The last time you were wrong in a harmful way was doubling and tripling down to blame me for the inadequacies of your own journalistic process, blaming me for your own lack of journalistic integrity. And those traits you've compromised: honesty, integrity, trustworthiness, accountability. Those are pretty important traits for the viability of a career in journalism. I don't want to fight you, Sarah or Mike.com, but as long as you insist on smearing me to deflect responsibility from your own malpractice, I will make sure my audience understands you for what you are: a lazy, dishonest, pathetic propaganda outlet that will prioritize its own feelings over its responsibility to tell the public the truth. And as always, any representative from Mike is welcome on my channel to discuss. And I would send you that invite, but hey, I'm just some right-wing troll that you've blocked. A troll you consistently smear, but never offer the opportunity to respond. And you portray me as the one who lacks integrity. Usually I strive for more precision with my words, more nuance with my reasoning and my message, but there are times where that effort just isn't necessary. So to Sarah Harvard and to Mike.com, go fuck yourselves. Thanks as always for listening and for supporting this channel. Always appreciate that thoughtful discussion down below, and especially over on Twitter. That is at ML Christiansen. You're always welcome to come hang out and chat in my live streams. Those are linked down in the description. Looking forward to it. Okay, bye.